Good morning, everybody. We have a higher trade in the grain markets here early on Wednesday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. July corn futures up 3 3/4 at $7.50. December corn up 7.5 at 5.88. July Chicago wheat, July soybeans up 13.5 cents at 15.51 3/4. November soybeans are up 10.5 at 13.73 3/4. July Chicago wheat up 4 cents at 7.30 3/4. July Kansas City wheat up 3.5 at 7.02 3/4. Spring wheat market is mixed. Remember, if you guys are listening on the podcast, as always, make sure you leave me a review. Make sure you leave me some feedback. Would appreciate any sort of comments that you have, good, bad, ugly. Love to hear what you think about the show. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. My goal is to get it to 2,000 subscribers sometime soon. I think I'm sitting at about 1,800. Would love to see you subscribe to the channel. And make sure you hit the like button, help YouTube spread these videos out for me. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, I offer a subscription service. It includes a whole bunch of stuff. You'll get my morning newsletter, which is an email. It goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. You'll get my text message service, which includes quotes twice a day, any sort of breaking news, and marketing recommendations. Subscriber-only videos and content is something I've been doing a lot more of. That is also included here. I did one yesterday really detailing the Brazilian corn situation, the situation with Brazil's second corn crop, the drought there, the dry forecast, the implications for the market. So if you're interested in some of this stuff where I really go into more detail, that is all included in the subscription service. So certainly check that out. To get into some of the headlines this morning, I will in fact start off with Brazil. It looks like pretty much everything's going to remain dry. There's really nothing in the forecast here that suggests that Brazil is going to improve, at least during the next 10 days. Now, you go out into the extended forecast, and there is perhaps a little bit of relief in sight for very far southern areas and very far northern areas, but the majority of these key corn growing areas continue to be locked out of precipitation. I think this is again, I said this earlier this week, I think this is probably the single biggest factor driving near-term price action in the corn market. I think personally that the market is in the process of discounting a Brazilian corn production number below 100 million metric tons. I think that we're pricing in a worst case scenario type deal here, given the forecast. USDA probably will lower its estimate in next week's report. Remember, they're at 109, and private groups, traders are at 100 or below. So USDA probably comes down next week would be my guess. EIA will release weekly ethanol data later this morning. Ethanol prices continue to surge. CME ethanol futures settled at $2.34 per gallon yesterday, into some fresh multi-year highs again. They've rallied more than 50 cents just in the last 4 weeks. Ethanol production has struggled to improve despite the fact that prices are very high, margins are good. Ethanol stocks continue to move lower. They're sitting at their lowest level seasonally since 2014. So we'll see if we can improve on ethanol production today. I think some ethanol producers are having a little bit of trouble procuring corn. That's maybe part of the issue here, but we'll see if we can see an improvement here today. Row crop planting could certainly slow in some areas due to forthcoming rain. You look at the forecast for parts of Missouri, parts of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. Some of these areas are going to see 3 to 4 inches of rain in total over the next 7 days, and that could certainly slow things down. Other areas will be much drier by comparison. Northern Illinois, northern Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Kansas, Oklahoma will see only limited precipitation, allowing field work to continue. North Dakota and part of South Dakota remain drought-stricken, certainly, and some other areas have become increasingly dry also. So kind of a mixed bag here in regard to weather. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen hinted at the possibility of higher interest rates. There was a closed-door meeting on Monday, and it was broadcast yesterday. Yellen, in this meeting, essentially conceded that interest rates may have to rise in order to keep a lid on inflation. This was the quote. "It may be that interest rates will have to rise somewhat to make sure that our economy doesn't overheat." This was in an economic forum, again, presented by The Atlantic. She went on to say, "Even though the additional spending is relatively small relative to the size of the economy, it could cause some very modest increases in interest rates." Now, of course, Yellen yesterday after the stock market sold off, kind of walked back the comments. She said, "It's not something I'm predicting or recommending." She went on to say, "If anybody appreciates the independence of the Fed, I think that person is me. And I note that the Fed can be counted on to do whatever is necessary to achieve their dual mandate objectives." This is a really great lesson in how markets work. So she went and told a bunch of insiders on Monday that she thought interest rates might rise. The stock market sold off yesterday, and we didn't hear this stuff until yesterday, until after the sell-off occurred. And then whoever shorted it, the insiders probably covered their position. That's how the markets work in a lot of these situations. The insiders certainly have an advantage here, in my opinion, at least. Cattle market acted very poorly yesterday. This is just a disaster. This is way out of whack. Choice boxes are 301.22 yesterday, up another $1.92, while cash cattle is just stuck in this 117 to 118 neighborhood. We'll see what develops later this week. The packers are making an absolute fortune here. The feeder cattle market's a disaster because of these higher corn prices. Really quite a mess going on there. The outside markets, we've got the stock market rebounding. The S&P is up 15. The Dow's up about 80. Gold's up a buck or two. U.S. dollars down just a little bit. Crude oil's up 68 cents in the June WTI at 66.37. Bonds a little bit lower. If you guys need some more information from me, again, check out my website. If you have any comments, leave them in the YouTube video. I'll respond to them. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you same time tomorrow.